Hello there. My name is Helaine Ortmann, and I'm a longtime Bright Run volunteer, and I just happen to be a breast cancer survivor myself. Today, I'm delighted to welcome to our conversation Dr. Jenna Smith-Turchyn. Jenna, hello.
Hi, Helene. It's so nice to be here today.
Thank you. Jenna, if you feel comfortable sharing information with us, tell us a little bit about your personal connection to breast cancer.
Sure. Yeah, so I was diagnosed breast cancer myself in 2010, unexpectedly, of course. I had just turned 26 years old, and after that went through the full gamut of treatments over the following year and really for years to come, including, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy, and hormone therapy as well. So that was a lot to go through, of course, just turning 26, but I experienced so much great care and support from the healthcare providers at the Dravinsky Cancer Center during that time. And I'm really so thankful for all that they've done for me during that time and since.
Now, having been diagnosed at the very young age that you were, I don't want to assume anything, but do you have a history with the Bright Run event itself?
So my first Bright Run was in 2010, that same year that I was diagnosed, and I actually ran the within the Bright Run just a few days after my first chemotherapy was administered. Really fighting back. I was not going to let my cancer treatment affect what I wanted to do, but it was a great experience that first year. I felt so supported, and I've been going ever since. Um, as you know, Helene, the Bright One really is an event like no other. It's such a great atmosphere of support and hope. And what is especially great about the event, one of my favorite things, of course, is that the funds raised as part of the Bright Run are all facilitated and used right here in Hamilton. They stay right here in Hamilton to benefit the individuals who are being treated for cancer right at the JCC. So that's amazing. And it's really been amazing as a survivor to watch the event grow as well over the last 15 years and to see all that's come from the great funds that have been raised as part of this event.
And of course, you happen to be a part of a team, no?
Yes, that's right. Myself and my husband created Jenna's Joggers, that first year in 2010, and it's been going strong ever since. It's something that he helps to coordinate now every year, so we have it ready to go for the run in September. And, we always have family and friends who come out to support our team each year, and that's so meaningful for us to have our little community involved in the Bright Run each year.
How big a team is it?
Depends on the year, but we usually have about 10 to 20 people come out and support the team each year.
Good size. This year, you've accepted the role of Bright Run spokeswoman, and we're delighted with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
So it's a great honor. What does it mean to you, and how do you hope to serve the community?
Yeah, so, I was obviously honored, a bit surprised when I was asked to be the Bright Run spokeswoman this year, just because my journey started so long ago. So I wasn't sure at first if I was the best fit really to relate to people who are going through the experience right now. But upon reflection, I decided to agree and really think that being the survivor spokesperson means trying to use my story to highlight who cancer can affect, but also how it can be overcome for others. So it's a reminder, I think, for myself and hopefully for others that healing is possible, that hope is really important, and that no one has to walk the path alone. So I hope by showing up and sharing my story that my journey can really demonstrate resilience for people who are going through cancer right now. And I hope to really be able to support and highlight the great work that's being done at the JCC. Really want to celebrate, all the research that's come from the Bright Run funds and really celebrate the courage of all the patients and survivors that are there at the event.
Now, congratulations are due for a second reason, and that's because you've recently been nominated through the YWCA Women of Distinction in the category of health and wellness. And I'd like you to speak to us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was an overwhelming nomination to receive, of course. I was nominated by some of my colleagues at McMaster related to some of the work I'm doing within my research at McMaster and within the community. And it was overwhelming because I know so many amazing women leaders in our community of Hamilton, including so many who are up at the JCC who are involved in the Bright Run. And I have been mentored by so many strong women leaders, growing up in Hamilton. So, I did feel surprised and slightly overwhelmed by the nomination, but it really did also make me pause and reflect on the need for and potential of some of the work and research that I'm doing. Think about the people who have supported me in the community that inspires me every day. And a big part of that community that inspires me is the individuals involved with the Bright Run. So again, I felt honored, humbled, really grateful because of the passion and purpose behind my work, and there's big, of course, passion going into work every day because I am working in the area of cancer rehabilitation now. So hoping that, you know, I can use this to help mentor and inspire and advocate for cancer rehabilitation work moving forward.
Having alluded to your work, tell us more about your day job. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a physiotherapist by day. I work at McMaster University in the School of Rehabilitation Science. So I'm able to do a lot of research related to cancer rehabilitation within my job every day. And so thinking about rehabilitation overall, it's really important for individuals with cancer. Both during and after treatment. The goal of rehabilitation really is to try to maximize function and quality of life in individuals across the lifespan. So, relating this to cancer, rehabilitation can really help prevent and manage the side effects of cancer and its treatments. So, an example of this is the use of regular exercise, and there's really great literature to support the benefit of exercise during and after treatment. So, when performed regularly, it can improve levels of fatigues, maximize strength, improve mobility, function, limit pain. The list really goes on and all, and overall improves quality of life. But as a physio working in this area now, we know the benefits, but it's how do we implement this on a regular basis right within the institution so people can benefit from it. Whoever wants to access it has this available to them. And really the goal of rehabilitation during and after cancer treatment is to keep people doing what's important to them and what they enjoy doing kind of across their treatment trajectory and afterwards. We really want to minimize functional decline during treatment so people can get back to those important roles at home and at work sooner.
So, am I correct, Jenna? Like in your work, you dabble in both things, research, clinical, interpersonal, you run the gamut.
Well, the majority of my work is in research, in teaching in the physiotherapy program, but within kind of the research role, we do clinical research. So that means working with, patients within the cancer center and, running interventions with them.
So, chances are you may even see some of your very patients out at the Bright Run.
Possibly. Yes. Yes, possibly. Hopefully.
Mhm, mhm. So the other thing you've spoken about research, and it obviously forms such a large part of your work. You too have been the recipient of Bright Run research funding. Tell us a little bit about that, its impact, and why important.
Yes, so I was very, very lucky with my collaborator, Dr. Mukherjee, who's an oncologist up at the JCC, that we received some of the foundation funding for our project, which we refer to as the Next BRCA trial. So, looking at novel exercise interventions for individuals with cancer during treatment. So, that project was funded by the Bright Run. And it really looks at the use of institution-based exercise and self-management for women with breast cancer during treatment. So, based on that funding, we were able to run a full-scale randomized controlled trial. And that's really one of the most rigorous forms of research to look at the outcomes of our implementation strategy at the Dravinsky Cancer Center. So we found that the intervention, which we ran in about 83 women with breast cancer, to be feasible and have beneficial effects on function and quality of life. So those who were in the intervention group, so actually participated in our exercise and self-management program, had higher levels of physical activity, quality of life, and function post-intervention compared to those who received usual care, which really doesn't include a standardized form of rehabilitation. So what was really exciting is that based on the findings of that trial funded by the Bright Run, the Canadian Cancer Society kind of picked up the project and funded this project to run for a longer period of time at the JCC, but also at 3 other cancer institutions across southwestern Ontario as well. So it expanded the reach of our project. We've now been able to implement it in multiple hundred individuals with a history of cancer and, really seen beneficial effects. So this Bright Run funding was so important to kind of get this idea off the ground, really started the path for what I eventually think and hope will be a standard of care in Canada. And we, again, couldn't have got this little program of research going if it wasn't for the Bright Run Fund. So I'm so, so thankful this was able to help us get going.
What an important message you're conveying to Bright Run participants, to researchers who may be thinking about
Mhm.
applying for funding, because what you said is absolutely essential. The Bright Run funding, first of all, funds local research here in Hamilton and area, but it is, in a sense, seed funding. And the hope, of course,
Mm.
is that it will explode into things larger that in some cases could even have not only local, national, but even international importance. So I think you've really crystallized that in your message.
Yeah, it's such an important part of the whole picture, right? Again, it helps keep Hamilton at the center of some of those novel and innovative strategies, which will improve patient outcomes and patient experience over the long run.
So these are early days in terms of your position as spokeswoman,
Mhm.
but all of these days are important. The teams are starting to form, they're registering on brightrun.ca, and we encourage everyone to take a look at the website. It's got tons of important and helpful information. Jenna, if there could be an overarching message that you would like to deliver to people watching this and listening to you about the Bright Run, what it means and how important it is, what might you say?
Yeah, well, I've been reflecting on that, and it is hard to put your finger on what it is about the Bright Run that makes it so special, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it's an event like no other, really. Like it's such a community that comes together, such a sense of support that comes together, such a sense of excitement and hope when you're there, sharing each other's stories, successes, challenges, right? And I think it's really just a time to celebrate, each other's stories, what we've overcome, celebrate all the great work that happens at the JCC, celebrate the funds that have been raised and the research that is happening to improve care because of the Bright Run. And, not only, what's happening, but what does that actually mean, right? In terms of what individuals who are going through treatment for cancer during and after treatment, like how does that actually affect their lives? So I think it's just, such a great event to come out, enjoy the day, and celebrate all those different things together as a community.
Speaking of the day, of course, we're talking about September the 12th, Christie Lake Conservation Area, where
Mhm.
so many people are going to have that in-person experience of getting to listen to you and to meet you. We thank you sincerely. You are an able, competent conveyor of everything that we think Bright is about. You've got the personal background, the professional expertise, and all done with such a sense of purpose and intention, resilience. We're very lucky to have you as our spokeswoman. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helene. I look forward to seeing everyone on the 12th.
On the 12th. Bye bye for now.